They spent millions of dollars and trotted out party heavyweights. And still, the Democrats came up short in Tennessee's 7th congressional district. The seat will remain in Republican hands for now and help the party protect its narrow House majority. Trump-backed Matt Van Epps defeated far-left Democrat Afton Bain, who earned the nickname the AOC of Tennessee. And you see the point spread there, just a tick off of 9 points. So this didn't end up being quite as close as Democrats had hoped, not by a mile. Trump congratulating Van Epps on the big win, saying radical left Democrats threw everything at him, including millions of dollars. Van Epps on what his victory means for Republicans going forward.
The Tennesseans voted in this resounding win to reject socialism, to reject the far left radical ideology, and to support common sense conservatism. And we are so happy with our margin of victory. And I think it's setting the tone for 2026, and we're going to win decisively there and hold the House.
Power panel now. Cassie Smedley, former RNC press secretary, and Al Motor, Democrat strategist. Great to see you both. Cassie, what does this mean?
Yeah, well, it was a really good night for Republicans. We had a really good candidate, and the support of President Trump and the leadership coming in obviously helped. But from a political standpoint, looking at next year's midterms, I hope the DCCC runs Afton's AOC of Tennessee in every congressional district across the country, because what it showed is that while the Democrats think that they can replicate the Mamdani strategy across the country, that's not what the American people are interested in. They don't want to hear about socialism. They don't want to hear about people who are against their own constituents. But I hope they run those candidates, because that would be a really good night for Republicans.
You know, we'll get to the point in just a minute, because I think that there are some lessons that Republicans can take away, and they need to take heed, because this seat comes back open. This was special. It comes back open during midterms again a year from now. Al, I want to talk to you, though, about the sort of hating American icons. I noticed that when she lost last night, Afton Bain was dressed up in denim and singing, you know, Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 and doing all the things after she said she hated country music, hates Nashville. I mean, what was up with that? And I don't know, was that far left or just bad taste or both?
I think it's just not knowing how to meet the moment, frankly. But
well,
look,
which moment includes hating American icons?
None. But if we can lose a seat by just 8.9 points in a district where the president won by over 20, in a district where the last congressional race Republican won by over 20, by running what you all call a socialist, then we're going to do pretty well in 26. Both of you are right that she is not the right candidate for this race.
What you all call? Do you know her politics?
How about this?
They're not a tick away from Mamdani or Omar Fattah or Katie Wilson. I mean, you've got far left from coast to coast now.
Right. But if we're going to run someone like that and only lose by 9 in a district that's Republican plus 22, the wins are in our favor. The trick is to not run people like that, which you've pointed out. That's what we need to do, is not put people like her up in places like Tennessee, because clearly a moderate, with Van Epps only getting 53.9% of the vote, could have had a chance. Maybe.
Let's talk about lessons learned real quickly for Republicans. Cassie, he makes a good point. It could have been by more, but nine points are nothing to sneeze at. Your thoughts on what the GOP can take away?
Yeah, I think Al makes a good point insofar as the Democrats, they're energized. The base is energized, all because they don't like Donald Trump. And so they're going to be energized to come out in the midterms. But Republicans are have to continue to figure out how to bake that into their plan and into their voter turnout plan, which is what I think you're going to see the emphasis really be on over the next year, because we have good candidates. We know the policies are popular with the American people. I think the candidates and even the president are really understanding how to message that and make sure that that's a priority message. And you heard that a lot in yesterday's cabinet meeting. And then now it's about dealing with the no Trump at all costs base of the Democrat Party / the far left socialists, who we know are energized to turn out. And the turnout game will play all day long.
Hollywood elites are picking 2028 sides early, and no big surprise on where they are coming down. They're going in hard for California's Governor Gavin Newsom. Tinseltown's big donors, power producers, Democrat fundraisers backing Newsom over former Vice President Kamala Harris. One longtime Democrat insider says it this way, quote, "Enthusiasm by LA donors is very strong and very encouraging. Big checks are being written. It was a slow build early on as we recovered from the loss in November, but there has been momentum building." Here's Newsom.
So when will you make a decision? After the midterms.
Of course.
After
But it's not my, it's, do you meet the moment? Do you have a big enough why? Do you have a what and a how? You actually can accomplish something.
Do you have a why?
You have to find that. You have to meet that moment.
Oh my gosh, he sounds like Al Motor trying to meet the moment. I'll be with you in a second, Al. While Hollywood is all in, the Democrat primary could be crowded. Names include Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, former VP Kamala Harris, and others. Uh-oh. Al, meet the moment.
I mean, look, when's the last time someone is a front runner 4 years before the next inauguration who won, who was not an incumbent president? So, you know, good for Governor Newsom that he's getting support from Hollywood donors. Hollywood donors don't determine the election. Money is much more viral now. It's much more internet-based and social media-based. I think these are people who are angry about, as Cassie was saying, President Trump's in power, and they want to put their anger somewhere, so they're giving money to their governor. Is he a potential candidate? Absolutely. And I'm open to him over perhaps the governor of Minnesota, who you were talking about a few minutes ago, but that doesn't mean I think he's our guy or the one who definitely should be our nominee.
You think Tim Walz will run again?
I hope not.
I mean, he's got to get through this scandal first. All right, Cassie, last word.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing that Hollywood mega millionaires are putting their money behind the very man who's essentially putting them out of business. They're all having to go elsewhere to make their movies, and their entire staff is being put out of business because of Gavin Newsom's regulations. So please, please keep supporting him. This is just silly.
Oh, Cassie, great to see you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.